Right now, as you watch this video, your personal information is being sold on a hidden internet that most people don't even know exists. Your email, your passwords, your credit card numbers, all available for the price of a cup of coffee. And the worst part, there's absolutely nothing you can do about it. Welcome to the dark web. Beneath the internet you use every day, there is another internet. One that doesn't appear on Google. One that governments have tried and failed to shut down. This is what they don't want you to know. Think of the internet as an iceberg. What you see on the surface, Google, YouTube, social media, that makes up only 4% of the entire internet. 4%. Below the surface lies the deep web. This is the 96% that search engines simply cannot reach. Your bank account, your medical records, private databases, corporate systems. It's not sinister, it's just hidden behind passwords and firewalls. But then there's the bottom, the dark web. This is a deliberately concealed layer of the internet that requires special software to access. It makes up less than 0.01% of the total web, hidden within the deep web, and it operates completely outside the reach of any government, any corporation, any law enforcement agency on Earth. The dark web runs on something called onion routing, a technology that was originally developed, and here's the ironic part, by the United States Navy. They built it for intelligence communication. They needed a way to send classified information without anyone knowing who was sending it or who was receiving it. And then they released it to the public. Because the system only works if lots of people use it. The more users, the harder it is to trace anyone. And that single decision created a digital underworld that nobody, not even its creators, could control. Here's how it actually works. When you open the Tor browser and visit a website, your request doesn't go directly to that site. Instead, it bounces through 3 random servers, called nodes, scattered across the globe. Each node only knows the identity of the node directly before it and the node directly after it. No single point in the chain knows both who you are and what you're looking at. Think of it like sending a letter inside 3 sealed envelopes. The first person opens the outer envelope, sees instructions to send it to the next person, but cannot read the letter inside. Each layer gets peeled away at a different stop. By the time your request reaches its destination, it is essentially untraceable. This is onion routing, and it is the backbone of everything that happens on the dark web. So the technology works, anonymity is real, but what are people actually doing with all this invisibility? The answer might keep you up at night. In 2011, a 27-year-old physics student named Ross Ulbricht launched a website that would change the internet forever. He called it the Silk Road. On the surface, it looked like any other online marketplace. Categories, product listings, customer reviews, even a 5-star rating system. But everything for sale was illegal. Drugs, forged documents, hacking tools, stolen data, all priced in Bitcoin, the only currency anonymous enough to match the platform. Ulbricht operated under the alias The Dread Pirate Roberts, a name borrowed from the movie The Princess Bride. And under that alias, he built an empire. At its peak, the Silk Road had over 100,000 active users and processed over $183 million in transactions. It had more product listings than most legitimate online stores, and it ran for over 2 years before law enforcement even understood what they were dealing with. Shh. But here's the thing they don't tell you. The Silk Road wasn't the first dark web marketplace, and it definitely wasn't the last. It was just the one that proved the model works. After it was shut down, dozens of copycats appeared almost overnight. The genie was out of the bottle. Let's talk about what is actually for sale on the dark web right now. And I mean right now as you're watching this. The biggest category is drugs. Everything from marijuana to fentanyl, shipped to your doorstep in vacuum-sealed packages designed to pass through postal screening. Dark web drug markets generate an estimated $1.7 billion per year. And that's just what researchers can track. Then there's stolen data. Credit card numbers, bank login credentials, corporate databases, medical records. The stolen data market is worth over $1.5 billion annually. Every major data breach you hear about on the news, that data ends up on the dark web within hours. Weapons are available too, though this market is smaller and heavily monitored by law enforcement. Counterfeit currency, fake passports, stolen identities, exploit kits for hacking, even step-by-step tutorials on how to commit specific crimes. And everything operates with the efficiency of a legitimate business. Sellers have ratings, buyers leave reviews, there are dispute resolution systems and escrow services. Some marketplaces even offer customer support. It is a fully functioning underground economy, hidden in a place Google will never find. And business has never been better. Now here's where it gets personal. Your identity has a price tag on the dark web, and it is probably lower than you think. A stolen credit card number sells for $6 to $20. Your bank login credentials go for $200 to $500. A complete identity package, your name, address, social security number, date of birth, that costs about $20 to $100 depending on your credit score. Medical records are worth even more, around $250 each, because they contain enough information to commit insurance fraud for years. Add it all up, and the average person's complete digital identity is worth roughly $250 on the dark web. $250. That's what you are worth to a criminal. And the scary part is, with over 10 billion records breached in the last decade alone, there is a very good chance your information is already out there. And that is just the marketplace. The things people believe happen on the dark web go far deeper and far darker than simple commerce. The most terrifying legend of the dark web is the Red Room. The story goes like this. Somewhere on the dark web, there are live streams where paying viewers watch real acts of violence, even murder, happening in real time. The audience supposedly pays in cryptocurrency to request specific acts. It sounds like something from a horror movie, and that is essentially what it is. No verified Red Room has ever been documented by any credible source. Not by law enforcement, not by researchers, not by journalists who have spent years investigating the dark web. The bandwidth limitations of the Tor network make live streaming virtually impossible. Video stutters, connections drop, latency is measured in minutes, not milliseconds. But here's what makes the myth so persistent. While live streams don't exist, recorded content does, and some of it is deeply disturbing. The dark web hosts content that would be immediately removed from any surface web platform. The Red Room myth didn't come from nowhere. It came from a much darker reality that's harder to sensationalize but just as disturbing. Another persistent dark web legend. Hitmen for hire. Dozens of websites claim to offer murder as a service with price lists ranging from $5,000 to $200,000, all payable in Bitcoin. Every single one of them is a scam. The most famous was Besa Mafia, a site that claimed to be run by an Albanian criminal network. Customers sent Bitcoin, filled out order forms with target details, and waited. Nothing ever happened. The site's database was eventually leaked, revealing thousands of orders and zero completed hits. But here's the truly disturbing part. While the hitmen were fake, the intentions were very real. People genuinely paid money to have others killed. In multiple cases, law enforcement used the leaked order details to arrest the customers and warn the intended targets. Some people had paid over $100,000 for hits that were never carried out. The total amount sent to fake hitman sites is estimated at over $1 million. Every single dollar from someone who genuinely wanted another person dead. The scam is almost comforting, until you think about what it reveals about human nature. Now here's where the conspiracy gets real. You might think the dark web is a lawless frontier, beyond the reach of governments. That is exactly what they want you to believe. The National Security Agency has been running a program called PRISM since 2007. It collects data directly from the servers of major tech companies. Google, Microsoft, Apple, Facebook, all of them participate. Edward Snowden confirmed this in 2013, and the world barely reacted. The FBI operates a program that intercepts and analyzes internet traffic in real time. The British intelligence agency HECHQ runs Tempora, which taps directly into undersea fiber optic cables carrying global internet traffic. But here's what most people don't know. Multiple seized dark web marketplaces were not immediately shut down. Instead, law enforcement continued operating them, sometimes for months, collecting user data, tracking transactions, and identifying buyers and sellers. The FBI ran a child exploitation site for 2 full weeks after seizing it, using it to distribute tracking malware that identified over 8,000 users worldwide. They don't just monitor the dark web, they run parts of it. Think about that the next time you hear a dark website got shut down. Ask yourself, who was really running it? So if they can control it, if they can run it, if they can monitor everything, then the real question becomes, who can you actually trust? Let's look at the biggest dark web takedowns in history. 2013. The FBI seized the Silk Road and arrested Ross Ulbricht. $28.5 million in Bitcoin was confiscated. At the time, it was the largest cryptocurrency seizure in history. 2017. Operation Bayonet. This was a masterpiece of digital deception. The FBI and Dutch police secretly took over 2 of the largest dark web markets simultaneously, Alphabay and Hansa. They shut down Alphabay first, knowing that users would immediately flee to Hansa. But Hansa was already under their control. They ran it for a full month, collecting data on hundreds of thousands of users who thought they were safe. 2020. Dark market, with nearly 500,000 users, was seized by German police in an international operation. 2023. Breach forums. The largest hacking forum on the dark web was shut down and its owner arrested. But here's the pattern nobody talks about. After every single takedown, a new marketplace appears within weeks. It is a game that law enforcement simply cannot win. For every site they shut down, 3 more appear. The technology guarantees it. Anonymity is built into the foundation. The story of Ross Ulbricht is perhaps the most fascinating chapter in dark web history. A bright, idealistic young man with a master's degree in material science from Penn State. He believed in libertarian economics, free markets without government interference, and he decided to prove his philosophy by building the most ambitious illegal marketplace the internet had ever seen. For 2 years, he was untouchable. The dread pirate Roberts running a billion-dollar empire from his laptop. Then, on October 1st, 2013, 2 FBI agents staged a fake argument in the science fiction section of the Glen Park Library in San Francisco. When Ulbricht looked up from his laptop, distracted for just a moment, a third agent grabbed the computer before he could close it. He was logged in as the dread pirate Roberts, with the Silk Road admin panel open on his screen. His biggest mistake: he had used his real name on an online forum years earlier, linking himself to the Silk Road. That single slip led the FBI straight to him. Ross Ulbricht was sentenced to double life imprisonment plus 40 years without the possibility of parole. He was 29 years old for building a website. Whether that sentence was justice or extreme overkill is something that is still debated to this day. But the dark web is not all crime and conspiracy. And this is something that most documentaries will not tell you. For journalists working in war zones, Tor is a lifeline. Reporters in Syria, Myanmar, and Ukraine have used the dark web to communicate with sources and publish stories that their governments would kill them for writing, literally. Whistleblowers like Edward Snowden used Tor-based tools to communicate with journalists before leaking evidence of mass government surveillance. Without the dark web, that information might never have reached the public. In countries like China, Iran, and Russia, where the internet is heavily censored, the dark web is the only way for citizens to access uncensored information. Facebook even operates an official Onion site, specifically for users in countries where Facebook is banned. For millions of people around the world, the dark web is not a marketplace for crime. It is a survival tool, a tool for free speech, for basic human rights that we take for granted. Let's put some numbers on this. 2.5 million people use the Tor network every single day. Dark web marketplaces generate an estimated $1.5 billion in revenue annually. There are over 60,000 active .onion sites operating right now. And here's the number that should concern you the most. Researchers estimate that roughly 30% of dark web infrastructure may be operated or monitored by government agencies. 30%. That means nearly 1 in 3 dark websites could be a honeypot, a trap designed to catch criminals, or perhaps to collect data on everyone who visits. If that doesn't make you question everything you've heard about the dark web, nothing will. So, who really controls the dark web? The governments say they are fighting it, but they built the technology that makes it possible, and they operate parts of it themselves. Criminals think they own it, but law enforcement has proven, again and again, that anonymity has its limits. Privacy advocates say it belongs to the people. But the people are outnumbered by those with far greater resources. The truth is, the dark web is a mirror. It reflects the best and worst of humanity, amplified by the power of anonymity. No one controls it, and that is exactly what makes it so powerful and so terrifying. Everyone has access, everyone has a motive, and no one is truly anonymous. The dark web is not going anywhere. Every attempt to shut it down has only made it stronger. The technology will evolve, the marketplaces will multiply, the surveillance will intensify. And somewhere right now, in a server room you will never find, in a country you will never know, someone is building the next platform that will make everything we discuss today look quaint. The only question that matters is this: who is watching you right now? If this video opened your eyes to what is really happening beneath the internet, smash that like button and subscribe for more investigations like this one. We go deep on topics that most channels are too afraid to cover. Drop a comment telling us what you want us to investigate next. The crazier the better. And share this video with someone who needs to know the truth, because knowledge is the only real protection.